Hello, everyone. Before we jump into our next story, I want to touch on something very important to me. I want my favorite people, the Nerd Alert audience, to be ahead of cyber attacks and computer hijacking. Start protecting yourself on the web at nordvpn.com/nerdalert or enter the code NERDALERT to save 77%. I talk about this a lot, but it's important, so I'm going to say it again. Your data is a vital commodity that hackers, greedy corporations, and even Russian malware creators are trying to take over every day. The FBI just put out a warning about a sophisticated malware system linked to Russia that may have infected at least 500,000 home and office routers in over 54 countries. And the New York Times is reporting that malware could be blocking web traffic, collecting any personal information entered on connected devices, and disabling devices entirely. You can stop the data manipulation yourself by restarting your router, going into the admin settings, and connecting NordVPN. There's a lot of reasons why I prefer NordVPN. First, it has an incredibly easy interface that I think anyone could easily use. Even my parents and Luddite sister can do it. Even Jank can do it. Secondly, and this is important, Nord doesn't slow down streaming video. So if you're on Twitch, you're going to have your location data protected from swatters. We just saw in the news a Call of Duty streamer was killed as the result of a swatter making a fake call to police. This doesn't have to happen. Nord is the fastest VPN product you can find. It won't throttle you like a direct Tor connection, and they've quadrupled their amount of servers to keep you safe without interrupting the rest of your life. I use it, I really like it, and now I can help you get it for 77% off just by using the code NERDALERT at nordvpn.com/NerdAlert. That's an incredibly low price. You can protect yourself each month for less than the price of bacon-flavored dental floss, except the VPN service is, you know, a lot more useful. Welcome to Nerd Alert, everyone. I am joined by my good friend and frequent guest, Jenna Busch. She is a well-known writer and critic. You are on Sci-Fi Fangirls, where you can check out a lot of her work. She's also a writer. You can check out many of her books on Amazon right now. We will talk about that soon. But first, we have to acknowledge, look at this brand new set, isn't it?
It's so cool. We're in a spaceship.
I love it.
I think that's really cool.
So get pumped for more videos that look this awesome. All right, we're gonna start with our first story though, and that is on one of my favorite topics, Westworld. Woo. So, you actually wrote an article for Sci-Fi Fangirls about comparing Maeve and Dolores to Professor X and Magneto from X-Men, of course, and it made so much sense to me when I saw it that I demanded that you come in here and talk about it. And that's what happened.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna keep writing really cool stories so that I get invited back. Okay.
Or just to write cool stories.
So
this is a great comparison. I love X-Men because it's like taking a very progressive view to the world of comic books and superheroes, which is, how does society treat the other? How did this, I mean, this came up during civil rights, and you can definitely apply it to gay rights and whatever marginalized community.
Yeah, and I liked the idea of this. What happened was I was writing, our next book that's coming out is Westworld Psychology. So I marathoned 17 hours in 36 hours.
That is going to be a dark hole.
Oh, it is. It is intense.
Of anger and self-hatred. I can't wait to read it.
It's really cool. But so I had marathoned it, and I got into comics with X-Men like years ago when I was a little kid. And so as I'm watching it, I'm thinking, God, that's Dolores is, and this season, not necessarily last season, but this season, Dolores is Magneto.
I can't stand her anymore.
Oh no, I'm so mad at her.
I used to be on her side.
Oh, especially after this last
every
episode.
sensible person I feel should be on Maeve's side.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Maeve is definitely Professor X. But I think it's because of the way that they sort of look at things. Like Dolores looks at AI like, and obviously they've been through a lot, but she looks at AI like they're more powerful, they're better than humans, and therefore they should be the race that exists, and anything that she needs to do to get to her goal, like mess up Teddy.
I mean, Magneto, he's willing to hurt other mutants to further his cause.
Even ones that he cares about, like Mystique.
Or any of the X-Men.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, or, you know, just anyone.
I don't know, that's when I really turned on her cause, which is, her whole thing was, oh, we should have the ability to shape our own futures. We should be able to make our own choices. But she took away his ability to choose and effectively turned him into a tool. And I loved that he was able to come back and make a choice.
Yeah.
And it was so ironic because he's the guy who's been killed and killed and killed and killed, but finally he made the choice to take his life, which was sad, but vindicating in a way. In his circumstances.
Totally, and then I think Maeve is clearly going out of her way to help people, to give people choice, like Akane in the episode Akane no Mai, where she sees that awakening her is painful, so she allows her to continue to stay unwoke. Is that a word? That could be
in her loop.
A word. In her loop, yes, that's better. But she'll take time out of her goal to get her daughter, to save her daughter, to help someone else. And though she does kill to protect, because that was one thing someone said about that. They're like, oh, well, she'll still kill. And oh boy, does she kill with her mind. It's so cool.
That's very Professor X.
Yeah, it really is. Cerebro, she can kill with her mind. But she's doing it for a greater good, where Dolores,
not so much.
She's taking away free will. She's using hosts as cannon fodder too.
I mean, Maeve seems to be coming from a position of love.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about all of their cornerstones, which is like, Maeve was programmed to love her daughter in a past life, albeit, and Teddy and Dolores were programmed to be in love with each other. But it seems like, I mean, you can question whether or not this even matters if someone programs it, but then, like, if you look at humans, most of our circumstances are seemingly at random, at least at birth.
Yeah, you can't decide who you fall in love with, you just do. And so it doesn't really matter why you're programmed that way.
I mean, especially when you're talking about like her relationship with her dad, Peter, that's not her real father, yet she still loved him, yet it still mattered.
Both versions of him.
Yeah.
Or I mean, there might have been more.
I think he had 3 or 4 versions.
Oh, I'm sure there were a number of them. But yeah, and it's interesting to watch, like, the way, if you think about Professor X and what he's willing to give up and what he's not willing to give up versus Magneto, and like even in X2, like Professor X allows people to go to Magneto if that's what they want. So it just sort of stood out, and maybe it was the lack of sleep, but
I sometimes had said before, maybe Magneto was right. Maybe people were horrible, and I can understand because he's a Holocaust.
People are horrible. I mean,
he's a Holocaust survivor. He's seen the worst.
Yeah.
The worst parts of humanity. But I mean, you can definitely compare that to Dolores saying, like, at the beginning, I choose to see the beauty in things and the natural splendor. Why would you ever be afraid of me? And and then that completely, I mean, she just seen so much that she's just horrible.
I know.
Immoral.
Oh, God, I don't. Her hair is delightful, but other than that.
I don't see redemption for her anymore.
No.
Not in the Valley to Beyond. Not all of us deserve to get there.
That's true.